Howdy, my name is Ivania Bello,
And I'm Ana Navedo.
and we will be presenting you our group project from Sociology 211, Dr. Retrieval.
Our project consisted of committing a deviant act, and given our university setting, we chose to do it in two different places given our campus, and they're the most busiest places on campus. The deviant act consisted of us two wearing the dinosaur inflatable costume and going around the Starbucks at Evans Library and the Memorial Student Center, which is called the MSC.
So before that, it is important to understand deviant behavior. It is characterized by the abundance of factors that play into societal norms. Deviant behavior is considered when you consider behavior, values, attitude, lifestyles, and life choices about individuals and groups.
Yes, and living in the 21st century, it is important to know that everyone has their own perspective on their own view of deviance, and such as taking a positivist or a constructionist approach.
Let's begin. So our first stop was at the MSC. The MSC is a student center at Texas A&M that offers many amenities such as shops, food courts, and even art galleries. The expectations I had when conducting this act was that students were going to record, laugh, or even take pictures.
As for the Starbucks at Evans, I wore the dinosaur costume this time and unexpectedly got the greatest reactions. I had people come up to me to take pictures, people recording, and the front desk personnel had a great laugh when I went next to the big Reveille plush statue, and I even took a picture with it. Given its surroundings, I didn't think many people would pay attention to me since they would be so focused on their work. More so when I went along to the study area next to the Starbucks, but I had some giggles when waving hi to the students. Now, what was hilarious was when I went to the Starbucks and my coworkers laughed out loud. I made the line for the water, held a Starbucks cup, and got my picture taken.
Considering that deviant behavior is socially defined and varies from group to group, the experiment consisted of many theories and literature. Being in a university, students will tend to act differently than being out in public. Moving on, we did some research on sociology theories that was based on our constructionist approach to our deviant act. In class, we learned about emergent strain theory, which explains that when people experience a strain between societal goals and the means to achieve them, they may turn to deviant behavior. Emergent strain theory helps develop as to why deviant behavior is seen on college campuses. Many students have a hard time balancing school life and personal life. The strain to balance academic demands with having a social life and extracurricular activities can lead to deviant behaviors.
Continuing on in the field of sociology, social constructionism states that behavior is based on the interactions in society. Therefore, deviants adapt to societal norms based on what they see. In our case, us having our deviant act to be a T-Rex going around campus, considering our environment, what we had in mind was, hey, I want to make people laugh, regardless of getting in trouble. These university students don't see this on a day-to-day basis. However, no behavior can be labeled as quote-unquote deviant, just because on the general sets of norms of behavior, conduct, and condition without knowing the reason behind that specific behavior. For some, it may be disruptive, and others entertaining. As university students, they might be more easygoing since 1, it's not them doing it, and 2, it's entertaining and comical to see something out of the norm in one's day filled with lectures and assignments.
Our final theory we based our experiment on was the labeling theory. The process of labeling behavior defines who is deviant and who is just socially docile. In turn, making deviance subjective, whereby something may appear strange in one setting but typical in another.
For example, during Halloween, wearing a costume will look normal because it is typical for the season. But as for this instance, wearing a noticeable costume is bound to be seen as weird. However, each reaction coincides with each thought. By that, I mean that those who think it is weird will react negatively in comparison to those who just go along and probably laugh at how comical it is to see a dino at Starbucks.
With any means necessary, it is clear to the public that actions speak for themselves, such as in this case of this experiment being made to test out reactions of the student body and faculty of the university. For this reason, symbolic interactionism coincides with labeling, as people's actions are based on their personal meanings.
But how do we make sure to gather the correct research on our experiment? Our methods consisted of targeting the population of young adults and adults given the location in a university. The data collection involved the sample of those who reacted to our deviant act given the two locations the study was performed at, the MSc and Evans Library. Moreover, analyzing the collection of the data, each reaction was influenced by environmental and social factors. Moving on, the experimental method involved controlling of the independent variable, which was the group of people from both locations, and measuring the changes of the dependent variable, which were the reactions. Observations were made at both locations, and in each we were able to set a harmless environment without disrupting anyone. Showcased by the reactions, students and faculty laughing, getting asked for pictures, being recorded, and putting smiles on their faces. Which brings us to our perspective of deviance being subjective. One cannot label unless they experience firsthand deviance, and not how the majority of people assume deviance just by the norm's standards.
For our analysis, when conducting our deviant act, some expectations were how different age ranges will respond to a dinosaur walking around campus. Furthermore, a trend that was observed was the use of technology. In both settings, which were the MSc and the library, many students took out their phones to take pictures and record the dinosaur roaming around the halls of the two buildings that the act was committed in. Many young adults use technology for various purposes like social media, entertainment, and communication. It is a way to stay connected, and it is a big part of their lives. On the contrary, no technology was used when it came to seeing an older person response. They did not record or take pictures, they just went on into their days. When observing an older person interaction with the dinosaur, it was noticed that many of them stopped to look, but not to take pictures or record. The observation we saw when conducting this deviant act was that age can influence numerous aspects of interactions and behaviors. Moreover, technology can contribute to deviant behavior, but it is important to remember that not everyone who uses technology engages in deviant acts.
Alright, this concludes our experiment, and some key factors I want you to take on from our experiment are: this study establishes evidence to the sociological theory in which deviance is a social construct. Nothing is inherently deviant until labeled. Many factors that play into deviant behavior and the perception of deviance changes based on culture and age groups. Social environments have a huge impact on how people interact and behave. Research can still be improved in the long run, such as gaining a larger audience with equal amounts of age groups. In all, society defines deviant behavior, as different views on different subjects allow for various views on what is considered socially acceptable or not.
A major take on this video is that deviant acts can vary in severity, ranging from minor infractions to more serious offenses. However, it is important to remember that deviance is not always inherently negative or harmful, as it can also challenge existing norms and lead to societal change.
Thank you for listening, and until then, see you next time. Is it not out of the norm? Wait, go again, do it again. One more.